The Satanic Temple recently celebrated 10 years of operation. I spoke to two members of the group, and of course they've been here on The Factor multiple times. They tell me they are still fighting to be taken seriously and get people to understand what they are really about.
No belief in any entity. We don't worship the devil. We don't drink blood. We don't kill babies. It is, that's all Hollywood stuff. We are a group of people that take inspiration from the metaphor of Satan and utilize it in various aspects of our lives and, parts of our identity.
And Dex, when the average person in the public that's not familiar with your organization, they hear the Satanic Temple of Satan and they go to the TV stuff. How difficult is that to fight and deal with all of that?
Oh, it's a constant struggle, as you'd imagine. We always hear the same thing. Why? If you don't worship the devil, then why Satan? It's fine. It's a totally reasonable question to ask. And one thing we remind people of is that no one tradition has a monopoly on the name Satan. There's the one that many Christians believe in, but for those who come from a Jewish background, Satan means something very different. And it's been the same throughout history. If you look at different cultures, you see different interpretations of Satan. It's not always the spooky devil that you see in Hollywood or the nightmares of evangelical preachers. And we try to get them to think past that first gut reaction of this must be something evil, because our Satan, which again is not a literal Satan, it's a literary one, to us is a Promethean hero. It's the symbol of defying arbitrary authority to bring liberation and knowledge.
And Shalise, who is likely attracted to your organization? Individuals who are raging against the machine, tired of traditional religion, who?
I would say that anybody who is interested in Satanism or the Satanic Temple come from various backgrounds that experience being othered in some aspect of their lives and embrace that status, embrace that identity, whether that is being othered by society, whether that is being othered by their personal views and those evolving changes, or those who care very deeply about having a stake in the evolving world and how, we are living in a world that is continuously trying to oppress the other and the minority and, feeling very strongly about upholding our rights to that. Apologize for the cat. And we have our membership looks very, very different, not only with their, gender identity, sexual expression, ethnicity, like all sorts of backgrounds of people who are inspired not only by the work, but also by the character of Satan and how they utilize that in their everyday. So it's all over the spectrum. There isn't just one way to look at a Satanist or those who are members of the Satanic Temple.
And of course, you guys have started book clubs around the country. Dex, any regret in that? Because there's always a fight every time you start one at a school.
Oh, you're talking about the after-school Satan clubs?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is certainly a fight every time we start one of those. Regrets? No, definitely not. Inconveniences, annoyances? Oh, all the time. We basically think whatever sphere of life it is we seem to be popping up in, there's always a reason for that. And one of the reasons is always that we've found out in America that if you don't exercise your rights and really find out, it turns out oftentimes you don't actually have them. What you have is a bunch of theoretical principles, that of religious liberty. But what is religious liberty really? If you can't have a after-school program without being protested out of existence, do you really have religious liberty? Is it religious liberty only when it's the whims of whatever the dominant faith is in the country? So we push back a lot. Intentionally, knowing that it's going to cause problems, but not with that as the goal. The goal is just to exercise our First Amendment rights. And, even though it's inconvenient and drives people crazy, we certainly don't regret it. We're just hoping that eventually people will start to realize that even though our name is unpopular, that what we're doing in the world is not bad, it's not evil, and we're hoping that people will realize through our work, among other things, that your rights only exist if you actually exercise them. And that's easier said than done, it turns out.
And of course, you've heard of Comic-Con. Well, they have Satan Con going on April 28th through the 30th in Boston if you want to get to know and see more about that organization. So that'll do it.